This is the 12 Notes Podcast. Back once again. Another interview with Isabella Soul.
Whoop.
Came through all the way from
South LA, man.
which is not that far, but
I feel like, why does everyone say that? It was torture driving over here, especially like hungover and tired because I went to Knott's Berry Farm last night. I was struggling, but I made it.
it's just the traffic that makes it.
Honestly, it was rush hour. I was dying.
Yeah. But you made it.
I did. Yay.
So, let's talk some music.
Yeah.
How long you been, I guess you're a singer, right? You're not, you consider yourself a singer, not a rapper?
Yeah, we were talking about this last time, I remember. Yeah, I've been singing since I was like little. But rapping, I just started probably like 5 years ago.
What do you mean, since you were little, like, just around family and, like, shit
Yeah.
like that?
I was like around 9. I started off like singing Spanish music, like Spanish oldies, because I was raised by my grandparents. So they were always bumping Spanish oldies. And so I still remember I started off singing Leodan. And I think he's an Argentinian singer. And when I started singing with my grandpa, I was like, wait, low-key, I really like this. And low-key, I wasn't bad from what people would tell me at that time. They were like, oh, shit, she's not terrible. And I just kept going and doing it. And I've always liked to sing. But even original music, I barely started putting out original music probably like 5 years ago because I started off doing covers.
So your grandpa put you on?
Yeah, my grandpa put me on.
Is he just like a big music guy?
Yeah, he, well, we're Guatemalan, so he used to play marimba, which is like, I don't know if you know, it's like an instrument where you go like this with the little sticks. Yeah, so it's like a very prominent genre in Guatemala. So he used to play in a marimba band over there. And he would play the accordion, he'd play the guitar, and he would sing all the time. So I definitely became influenced by seeing him and shit. But yeah, I definitely started off with Spanish music.
So it runs in the family.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, though, just with him, I would say. Because my grandma was like, bitch, you better do something else. Like, what are you doing? That shit ain't gonna pay the bills. Same shit she told him. She basically made him, like, choose, like, either you're gonna keep, working on music, or you're gonna get with me and we're gonna raise these kids. And he was like, all right. And he left music. But it was just him. Honestly, I can't really think of, and my grandma wasn't into it. My biological parents, they're not into it. But I feel like now I'm the one that's passing it on to my little brother who's 12. He just started learning how to play the guitar and the piano. And I know it's me influencing him, because where else is he going to get that shit? Not from my mom or my stepdad. So, yeah, now I'm the one passing it down. It makes me happy. Just thinking about it makes me smile, because I love that little kid.
All right. How old is he?
He's 12. Yeah, and he's actually really, really good, but he's really shy. I tried recording him last time. He's like, no, and he stops. So I was like, all right, I respect it. But he's actually really good. It's crazy. Definitely a creative like me. He loves to draw. He's actually really good too. I'm not just saying that because he's my brother too. Like, believe me, if he was ass, I'd be like, yeah, no, he's straight up ass. He sucks. But nah, he's actually really good.
Yeah. So he's artistic.
Yeah, hella artistic.
That's dope.
Hella artistic.
Yeah, I feel like, when you're young, it's always like you get stage fright pretty quickly. And did you have stage fright? It's 9 years old.
That's the thing. Like, I feel like the reason why I barely started putting music out, original music out that I wrote and, I created in the studio myself and shit, like barely 5 years ago, was because I was really, really shy, like when it came to that shit.
Yeah.
That's why I say I'm an ambivert. I'm like an introverted extrovert, because I am an outgoing person.
Right.
But when it came to music, I was so shy and I was so scared, and I hated like singing in front of people that weren't like my family. Even my friends didn't hear me probably till high school. And they were like, what the fuck? Like, why haven't you pursued this? And I'm like, nah, like I'm too fucking scared. But yeah, I was really shy when it came to that. which is why I never told anybody that I did it until like after high school, because what's gonna happen then? Nothing. You know, I'm straight. Like, you nobody gonna tell me shit. I don't have nobody to report to no more. You know, you stop seeing the same people every day.
Yeah.
And so after high school is when I started kind of coming out of my shell and started. I remember trying to write music and it just wasn't hitting. It was not hitting. But I guess you gotta live life so that you can become inspired and be able to write. And I guess I had not gone through certain things. Once you go through shit, it's easier to write shit because you're like, damn, like I lived this. And you're just writing and letting it out and shit. But yeah, this is recent. Like, even though I like to sing and maybe I wasn't terrible at it growing up, this whole like putting shit out is barely like 5 years ago. I know people, like, you know, people, you know, that have been putting shit out since middle school. Like, even if they just started out on YouTube type shit or putting videos out or songs out since they were elementary or even middle school. But not I. Shit, I was scared shitless. I was terrified.
So there's people that know you that didn't know you sing?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And no, honestly, like, it's funny because, like, I have people that knew me from, like, middle school and elementary school even. And they'll find me, like, on IG. But my stage name is not my government name.
Yeah.
So they're just like, what the fuck? Like, I've gotten messages like, I didn't even know this was you. Like, you famous now? And I'm like, shut up. You're like, since when do you sing? Like, I'm like, I never told nobody. But yeah, this is new to a lot of people, not just me.
I mean, I get the same thing because I'm so quiet.
Yeah.
And like when people hear my songs, it's like, what the hell? Like,
honestly, I was tripping out too when I heard your shit. I was like, what? Where'd this come from?
Yeah.
Like, for sure.
Yeah.
I can relate in that aspect.
I mean, for me, it's just like, it's rapping. So like, of course, I'm you know, I'm not gonna be the same tone. It's like I gotta put on a show and
you transform, right?
Express my emotions the way it needs to be, you know, said on certain songs. So
it's crazy how that works.
Yeah.
How you can be a certain way, and then you write or you sing or you perform, and it's like you turn into a different person.
Yeah. Especially on stage. It's like,
I transform for sure.
Yeah.
I black out.
Yeah.
And then after it's done, I'm like, oh shit, that's crazy.
It's just like something kicks in and you just go. Like, this is dope though.
I love performing though. It's like my favorite thing to do out of everything.
Yeah.
I love performing.
I think it's there for everybody.
How would it be for you?
Performing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. It's like, it's the energy and just hearing your music out loud and people responding to it and just everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I can imagine once you have like 100,000 freaking fans knowing all your songs, like that feeling must be crazy.
Yeah.
You know.
I can't wait. It's not a matter of if, but when. Hopefully, you know, crossing fingers, manifesting, putting it out in the universe.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get there.
So you grew up listening to Spanish music mostly, or like any R&B, shit like that?
I mean, for sure R&B. Eventually, I got there. I used to be really obsessed with Mariah Carey and Rihanna growing up. Rihanna, I'm not even sure how you say her name, but yeah, those two. I really loved those two when I was in middle school. Elementary was crazy. I was very much about 50 Cent and the game, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Which is why, you know, I'm surprised, but not really, that I started rapping. I feel like eventually that side of me was going to pop out because I've always loved hip-hop. I've always loved rap. I've been obsessed with Biggie for the longest. And even though I don't really, like, consider myself a rapper, I love doing it because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's something fun for me to do.
Yeah.
It feels less like work as opposed to when I sing, it feels like work because it can start getting annoying and tedious, especially when it's not sounding how I want it to sound.
Yeah.
But rapping is fun. It really is fun. I enjoy it. That's more like a hobby, I would say. That somehow popped off for sure because I feel like more people listen to my rap, unfortunately. But it is what it is. Oh well. That's why I'm gonna keep putting it out. Gotta get it how you can.
Well, people say like R&B is like dead or dying.
Yeah.
You think that's true?
No, I just feel like people aren't open to listening to R&B. Like it's not as mainstream as before, but there are so many cool ass R&B artists that are out, and R&B is like my favorite genre. So I love listening to different artists and their different projects that they drop, and I think about it and I'm like, why isn't this mainstream? How come, I'm bumping this shit, but I ask somebody, have you heard of Victoria Monet? They'll be like, no. I'm like, oh, have you heard of, Bryson Tiller's new album?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a couple songs, or only they'll have listened to like the ones that have features from like, pop artists.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, what about Brent's new album, or Kiana Lede just dropped one, and people are just like, eh. But I just feel like they're there, the music is there.
You just gotta find it.
You just gotta find it if you're into it, if you're up for it.
Yeah, I say it all the time. People say that same shit with rap, like, if you listen to mainstream rap, it's all like watered down shit. And it's like, oh, rap sucks. It's like, nah, you gotta find the right shit.
Yeah. And that's why, honestly, like, I rather listen to my homies' music than the radio. You get what I'm saying? Because the radio sounds like ass, but the homies are really trying to get out there. So they still care about their lyricism, and they still care about what they put out. Yeah. Artists that are already really well established and have been out for a while, their shit starts sounding kind of like lukewarm, like same thing. Yeah. Or sounding like everything that's already out. But the homies, like, they're still evolving. They're still trying to create new sounds and even find themselves at the same time.
I think it's because, like, once you're successful and you find what everybody likes, you keep chasing that sound. And when you're not that successful, you keep searching for different sounds and trying new things. And it's
until you find it. Yeah. No, right. For sure. But yeah, definitely still, I'd rather listen to the homies' music, and for the most part, it'll be good. At least the people I listen to, like people that you've interviewed, even, or people that are constantly trying to work with new artists and dropping videos, dropping freestyles, shit like that. Like they sound good. They sound dope. Right. Like, don't ask me if I listen to the new Drake. Shit, ask me if I listen to new PD or the fucking, or new Robs. Like, have you heard that shit? That shit's dope. Yeah. Like, don't fucking ask me about no fucking Drake. Yeah.
So you mentioned a couple albums that you listen to. You still listen to albums, like, fully?
I do. I really do. I appreciate a good body of work.
Yeah, because I know, like, a lot of people be talking like, oh, don't do albums, it's not worth it. People don't listen to albums, but it's like, I listen to albums all the time. Like, that's what I look for in an artist. Because I feel like you don't take your shit serious until you can put together a whole project.
Right. And I agree wholeheartedly,
If you're just putting out songs and all that, I feel like...
single after single after single.
It don't matter. Like, you could be gone tomorrow, they wouldn't even care.
Exactly.
But if you care enough about your art, you can put together a nice, good project.
And I feel like you really got to love this shit in order to do that. Right. Because you got to be able to not care that people don't listen to certain songs on your album. Yeah. And you got to be able to put a body of work together, that you'll fuck with, even if nobody else does, like, you got to love it. Yeah. And the only project I could say that wasn't like a full body of work, in my opinion, would probably be the first thing I put out, which was my EP. And that's because, like, I just wanted to put something out to kind of establish myself and show people. And it was a good idea because one of the songs was kind of what ended up, I guess, blowing up in its own right. And
Sides?
Yeah, Sides. Yeah. Sides ended up blowing up from that EP, and everybody fucked with it. And this was at the time when I shit you not, probably like 400 followers on IG, and it was just coworkers and people I went to school with. And then I put out that EP. I remember the first song I actually put out as a single from that EP was Woman, which I listen to it now, and that's just crazy, because, man, do times change? Because it was in a sad way, you know, because I listened to Woman and I'm like, damn, you were a different woman. And half of the shit that I went through, I probably wouldn't have put up, that person wouldn't have put up with it. But, you know, life is life. You go through shit.
Yeah.
But I listened to Woman, I'm like, damn, what happened with her? Like, she was really about her shit. But I guess, you know, and then I ended up doing a video for Sides, and that's the one that kind of like out of nowhere, you know, I went from like 400 followers to, I still remember it was like 700, which was like really nothing, but then eventually it got to 900 and then over 1,000, like just over time and shit, and all because of it's always been like little growth spurts depending on the song that I put out. Because then even after I was like around 1,000, I'm like, all right, that's cool. And then Freak came along, you know, from my second. That would be my first album, because the first one was an EP. This was an actual album, and it was an actual body of work that I put time into. And if you listen to it, like, I even took my time with like the order that I was gonna put the songs in, you know, because even though there was a mixture of rap and hip hop and like, I'm talking like hardcore rapping and then super soft, sad R&B. I was like, I gotta make sure it still sounds like, still sounds good and it's still correlated in a way. So I really took my time with that project. But the song that blew up from there was Freak, and then kind of just got the ball rolling after that. And then my last album, Soulful, that's another body of work that, you know, I really took my time with it. You could even hear it, you know. It tells a story if you pay attention. Like, I still believe in intros and interludes and outros, you know, to kind of like complete the body of work. And if you have a story to tell, it definitely helps to kind of introduce what you're about to put out. And then at the end, kind of close it out like a book. But yeah, I totally agree with... I appreciate bodies of work. I still appreciate albums. I love albums. And sometimes, like, I won't even listen to an album until I know that I'm going to be home sitting down in the dark with my headphones so I could really take it all in. I'll be like, oh, so-and-so dropped a new album, but I'll be in the car. Could easily put it in there, but I'll be like, no, I want to take my time with it, really listen to it, see what's up.
Yeah. The headphones.
Yeah, with the headphones.
That's where it's at.
Yep. Fuck the car. Fuck the aux.
Yeah.
I'll bump this shit on my own.
I feel like the car is like when you know the album and now you can jam to it.
Yeah, and you can sing along and shit. Yeah. That's exactly what that is. Yeah. Like, that's car music. But I don't know if it's going to be car music until I listen to it all the way through and I add it to my playlist. Because I'm big on playlists. Very big on playlists. I got my Trying to Get Turned playlist. I got my In My Fields playlist. I got all those. Because I'm very big on music. Like, even, not just the shit I put out, but the shit I listen to.
I just put my shit on shuffle and just rock with it.
I got one of those too. Yeah. That's like my super playlist. I'll just put that shit on and put it on shuffle.
Yeah. So let's go back. So Sides, Blows Up. How did you come up with the concept of that song?
Man, so I'm an English major dropout. I thought I was gonna major in literature and shit. So, with that being said, I thought I was gonna be like a novelist, horror novelist to be specific. Snap. With that being said, I love writing stories, and
So you feel like it's a horror story?
No, in a way, like that. You know, like damn, this one fucked me over. Yeah. Because everybody thinks that Sides, you know, which is crazy, because I really do believe in this shit now. That you can manifest your songs. Yeah, for sure. Because when I wrote that song, I had not gone through that type of pain. You know, I don't even know where that drama came from. You know, like, I was like, how the hell? Because people are like, damn, like, what happened? Like, you good? You straight? And I'm like, oh yeah. Like, I basically just like exaggerated a little bit. You know, like, damn, like you took me so high just to see how I fall. Like, at that time, it was like over exaggeration. You know, like, it wasn't it wasn't really something I was living through. Did I end up living it eventually? Yes. And I was like, God damn. And it made me not even want to listen to that song because I'm like, I put it out there. I manifested it. But yeah, I still remember when I wrote it. I was eating pupusas at a Salvadorian restaurant. And it was with this guy and shit. And I basically took his behavior and I exaggerated it. And I just popped off and I wrote it like I was really a girl suffering, when in reality it was like, you want to go? That's cool, you know? So, because he was like in front of me and I was on my phone writing everything down, like, okay, no, but it would be cool like this. And yeah, and then after that.
Okay, so let me see. I'm just a rapper, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know how to sing in the. So writing an R&B song, does like the melody come also with the lyrics, or is just the lyrics first and then?
Well, it depends on, because everyone has different styles of writing. And honestly, it depends, because I had written the lyrics already, but I needed a beat. So I didn't know how it was going to sound. I just knew.
So you just had the lyrics?
Yeah,
now.
I just had the lyrics.
Okay.
Because even when the song starts out like, so I'm supposed to stick around, and I go like super high.
Yeah.
Like, I had no idea that's how I was going to go about it. But when I was looking for beats, I knew that I wanted it to be something like really soulful and like really hard, you know, like just because I knew that the lyrics I had written down can be very like gut wrenching, like just like they could hit you in the heart. So I'm like, it has to be a really good beat. So I was looking for beats, and then after hearing the beat, that's how I was able to decipher how I was gonna go about what notes to hit, you know, in what way and what melody. Honestly, like sides is just a gem. It's a gem because I feel like the universe came together to help create something like that. And it sucks because people ask me all the time, like, when are you gonna drop more stuff like that? Like, when, like, dude, I don't even know how I did it in the first place. I really don't. I really do not know. And I've tried to do it again, but trying is kind of like looking for love. You don't go looking. It's gonna fall on your lap, and it's gonna happen eventually.
Yeah.
Because even with Freak, like, Freak was a freestyle that I posted on IG. Like, I was literally, I still remember what I was like wearing, like sweat shorts and like a sweater, like a white sweater. And I had told my sister, yo, like, record me. I just wrote some shit down. Like, I even remember I wrote it like in a red marker in the living room. This is when I still lived with my parents. And she just recorded me, and I was like dancing and shit. That shit blew up, and it was just a freestyle. So I took advantage of that shit. I'm like, let me make it into a whole song, and that's how that came about. But yeah, I guess I don't know how these bangers be coming, but I be trying.
I mean, I don't think any of us know. It just like
it just happens, right? Sometimes like the most randomest shit be blowing up, and you're like, how the fuck? How do I do that again?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how sides. I'm a really good storyteller, and which is why like writing lyrics is like my favorite part of creating music, because I can sell you a story like a motherfucker. Like I can make it seem, even Selling a Dream, which is off my album Daddy Issues, like Selling a Dream, that whole song was written in a perspective of a girl, but in reality I was able to write it based off of what a guy was telling me. Like, so tell me what you're selling. Like, are you selling me a dream? You know, got me hooked on your love. You know, now I'm feeling like a fiend. But then what I did is I just switched to a girl's perspective. And I remember writing it, and I'm like, I wish a guy had me like this. But yeah, I could sell you a story. I could write you a song out of just a conversation that we have. And I'll like visualize it in my head, like just off of a daydream. I'll create a story out of it. Which is why I'm like, don't believe everything I sing or I rap, because I can.
For sure.
I'm a storyteller.
Yeah.
I really thought I was gonna be writing books, so.
So you dropped your EP 2019.
Yeah.
So how long before that did you like start actually recording your own music?
Well, I was recording in my room at the time, which is why like I was able to experiment engineering, and that's when I found out I didn't like it. I even bought a little MIDI because I was like, let me try out beats, let me see if I can make beats. And I found out I didn't like that either. So literally it started collecting dust. Like I've had people be like, sell it to me, and I'm just like, nah, I might change my mind later on down the road. Like I'll just keep it there. That shit was a little pricey, but yeah. So I was in my room probably like 3 years prior to that, because
So you went out and bought the equipment, like, I'm about to start making some music.
Yeah, I bought like, the mic and I had my laptop. I did it all on GarageBand and shit.
Yeah.
And I also I started taking music classes at Santa Monica College just so I can get like the basic concept of music theory.
Yeah, so you like music theory.
Yeah, like that's when I learned like how to play like basic shit on the piano, how to read music because of those classes. I didn't want to just go into that shit like not even knowing the basics, I guess for rappers it would be like going into rap not knowing like what a bar is or like 16 or a 12.
Oh, that happens every day.
Yeah, so I didn't want to do that with music. I'm like, I don't want to go in ignorant. So I took a couple classes and shit. And music theory is like Chinese. It's like a whole nother language. I struggled with that shit. That shit was worse than math. It was so hard for me. But
so what are you learning? Like chords and notes?
Chords, notes, yeah. I took a couple vocal classes as well. I was able to find out I'm an alto and shit. Like, which is not very common in women.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Typically, we're sopranos. But I guess I'm on the lower scale.
Yeah.
And if you listen, like, I do have like I guess you could say I'm on the deeper, voice side.
Yeah.
So I was able to find that out. And yeah, it helped with my performance as well because obviously for finals, like.
So is there like a certain key that you're most comfortable with and like you kind of look for all the time?
Probably the most common one would be C, probably, but I'm comfortable with C, but honestly, I always make it work.
Okay.
Like even shit that I'm not comfortable with, which is why I like working with engineers that'll push me to do things that I'm not comfortable with. Be like, you know what, a falsetto would sound good over here, or let's add some harmonies over here, knowing damn well like I'm a struggle.
Yeah.
But if you push me, if I'm working with somebody, it's like, add this, or how about we do this? Like I'm always molding and I always make it work.
For sure.
Yeah.
So how did you learn like the recording process?
YouTube.
Really?
I didn't even know how to put up like a microphone with phantom power. I was like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah. So I'm talking about like having your lead vocals and like stacking it and
oh my
harmonies
gosh
and all that.
Okay, so that
Understanding all that.
there was so much trial and error, so much trial and error, because even though like you try to learn, like everything I learned on my own, and I'm talking like just it was bad. I think about it now and it was so bad. Like if you listen to like the shit that I would put out at first, I'm just like, bro, what are you doing? Oh my gosh, that's so bad. But like I tell my homies, like, you gotta pay your dues. You gotta put that shit that
for sure.
It's gonna suck, but you gotta start somewhere. But I remember I hit a studio with this one person. It was this guy who claimed to have engineered before, and no shade, but he was ass. Like he was ass. Like it was just so bad. Like he wasn't helping me. Like no way. Like I didn't know what I was doing, and I thought he would. He knew less.
I feel like that's a common thing.
It was so bad, so bad. And the worst part is we were spending hours and nothing was sounding good. So I was like, how are we in here for 12 hours and this just sounds like ass? Like, I was just like, you know what? I'm done working with this guy. And I felt bad, but because, at the time I was a server.
He lied.
Yeah. At the time I was a server and he worked there too. He was my assistant manager. And he straight up lied, because how are you going to say you work with certain people and then we hit the studio and then it's ass?
Yeah.
So what I did is I booked a session, and I'm telling you, like, the universe works in mysterious ways, and it worked out in my favor. But I booked a session in downtown LA at some random studio, and at the time there was this guy there working. And his name, he's MIA now, so I can't even tell you what he's doing, but his name was Taylor. And I remember coming in and I was like, yo, like, can you help me out? Like, I tried recording, I don't know what I'm doing. And like, I know I have the idea for it, but it's not coming together. So he was the one that, he mastered Woman, but Woman was like entirely me. Like I had no pointers, like or help with anything in that. So he may have mastered it, but it was like, it needed work regardless, And then I remember there was a song in my EP it's called Flowers at Your Door. Flowers at My Door. Yeah, I can't even remember. But I remember the melody for the hook was totally different from what I was singing, and it sounded so bad. I was like, why is it not clicking? And I remember he was like, why don't you switch it up? I remember it was like, why don't you try You Could Move On? Like, and he like laid it all out for me, and I was like, oh shit. I was like, all right, hold up. I like hopped in the booth and I sang it, and I was like, holy shit. Like, this guy knows what he's doing. Bet, say less.
Yeah.
So he helped me finish my EP, and he helped me finish Daddy Issues. And we did all those 2 projects together. Last I heard, he was actually working with like people from like, I guess, the Weeknd's crew. But he's like one of the most talented people I had ever like came across. So it's definitely one of those people that I like. Again, he went MIA. You know, he had a kid. When people have kids, they start focusing on their family. I respect it. But he helped me so much, and what I did during that process was just try to absorb as much knowledge as I possibly could, because you can't really depend on just one person, because if they disappear like he did, like I was fucked. Yeah. But luckily, you know, I was able to really take in everything he taught me, everything. Like, he knew so much. He knew how to make the angels sing, like, with my voice. If you listen to Selling a Dream, there's harmonies at the end. And he did all those harmonies. I just listened to what he was telling me, and he knew what notes to hit and how to fix melodies that sounded like ass, and how to stack, you know, how to double. He taught me all that. Ad-libs, I didn't even know what those were. You know, I wasn't even rapping at the time, but when I brought in, I think the first song I did bring in with him was Freak, so that he could help me. And yeah, I didn't know none of that. I didn't know stacking. I didn't know melodies. I didn't know harmonies. I didn't know ad-libs. And he taught me all that.
You all that.
Yep.
That's what's up.
And I just took it all in, and I've been using it ever since with anybody else that I work with.
Yeah. That's dope.
Yeah. Lots of falling on my ass, though, for sure.
So now when you go in, you're kind of more like, you know what you want. And
oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. I could even be, like, really annoying with my shit. I'm not even going to lie. Like, now I get picky, you know? I'm like, no, this doesn't sound good. Or, you know, it's been a cool minute now. So I definitely know, like, I'm confident now whenever I walk into a booth or a studio, or even when I walk into a studio with other people. I'm hella confident with my shit, because I've gotten to the point where it's like I know what I bring to the table. Right. You know, so for sure. I think about the past, and it's funny to me, like, damn, if you really dedicate yourself, you could grow. And that's what I did. I grew. Like a flower, I bloomed.
So, Daddy Issues. Mm-hmm. What's your favorite song off the album?
Off of Daddy Issues? I'd probably say a song that like no one listens to and no one bumps, but I really fuck with. I mean, it's gonna sound like annoying that I'm gonna say Freak, but I feel like Freak is definitely up there for me, because that was a moment. I still remember when that shit, like the video dropped, like my phone was just like zzz, zzz, and I'm like, and it was the first time I got hate too, which was crazy. It was crazy. It was definitely like 20% hate and like, you know, 80% love, but I had not experienced any hate till that day. So I like Freak just because of like the moment that it gave me at that time. But I also really like Crush off that album, and it's not because of who I wrote it for, but because it's a really good song, like vocally, and the lyrics are pretty dope too. And I feel like I didn't need a cuss in that song, you know. It was just very like, and it was real, you know. And then also the harmonies at the end of that song, crazy. I'm telling you, Taylor made the angels sing on that track. Like, he made my vocals into the instrumental at the end. So I love Crush off that album.
Okay. I think mine is Answers.
Answers is hard too. Answers is hard. It's sassy. It's definitely, Answers is cool. I like Answers too, for sure. That's a good little R&B track. You got good taste.
I mean, I like just the perspective, because I know, like, back in the day, as far as like women singing, it's always, you know, a man ain't shit, always blaming the man. But nowadays it's more different.
And that song is basically like, I ain't shit. You don't want this. Like,
so that's why I like it. It's like, okay, now it's like you take responsibility and you know.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good little track. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why this is different. Yeah, and that's I don't know. I like that type of shit. And like SZA too. Right now, SZA's like one of my favorites because she be on that same shit.
Yeah, like, I love SZA. Oh my gosh, her last album. Oh my gosh, just fire.
Crazy.
It was so good. It's funny you mention her because she inspires me a lot.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, like, I have my own sound because that's how it goes, you know, like we can get inspired without like biting each other's style.
Yeah.
But she's definitely up there for one of my like biggest inspirations currently. Obviously it changes like over time when new artists pop up or new artists drop shit, but I love listening to her because she inspires me in like particular ways when it comes to like lyrics or even how to sing, you know, like
her voice is crazy.
I love her. And yeah, she's definitely on that like I ain't shit tip like a lot, and I love that.
That's dope
for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, so after Daddy Issues, how was like your feedback as far as like the whole album? Did people actually listen to the whole album, or is just like Freak is the one? And
I think they did listen to the album because I had like two artists on there that I guess like they have their own like crowd and their own fans.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm grateful that they hopped on my shit because other people were willing to listen to it. So their fans kind of gave me a chance and they bumped my shit. So I'm super grateful for that because, you know, these two individuals, again, these are people that been rapping since middle school, you know, putting shit out for the longest, longer than I have.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful that they gave me an opportunity. They basically gave me a chance by hopping on my shit. And at the time, I even remember, like, you know, Young Uno, I don't think I had heard him on, like, a singing track at that time.
Right.
So he, for real, gave me a chance because I haven't heard him, like, on a song where it was like, I guess like an R&B kind of bouncy pop, you know, kind of, because even like, you're gonna laugh, but the hook on that shit was inspired by Taylor Swift. But yeah, we're just like, it's true, like that part, like it was inspired by Taylor Swift. She a little pop queen, you know. So so it's like, it's not the type of stuff that I would regularly see like him on, but
yeah.
I'm super grateful that he was down, and I feel like I caught him at a good moment. So because I had like those two artists on it, I feel like people did actually bother to listen to the album. So super grateful for sure for how the way, you know, and again, if you look at the way like the titles were organized, that's a body of work, because if you look at the middle, there's like a song called Daddy, and then there's Issues right there. So the story there is just kind of explaining how daddy issues can affect one's dating life later on in the future. Like they end up correlating, like the deep-rooted traumas end up correlating with how you go about your love life later on down the road. At least that's kind of, you know, with the touch of like, because the realist is kind of like the touch of I'm coming, you know, like this is just the beginning. There's going to be more coming out. I'm trying to establish myself, you know, as an artist.
Yeah. And then you drop your second album.
Soulful, yeah.
How long does it take you? A long time to make a song?
It actually does, you know, because I know people that write and write and write and write, and they write in the toilet, they write in the shower, they write in bed, they write and they write and they write, and they have like 200 songs, 300 songs on their phone.
Sheesh.
But me, man, I be having like 3 songs and I be sitting on them, and then
like written or recorded? Like
written. And then once I have probably like 10 songs, maybe sometimes even less, because I don't like putting too many songs on an album because people have short attention spans nowadays. Like something drives me crazy about when I see an album with like 20 tracks. I'm like, oh, that's going to take time to listen to, you know? But me, I try to keep it like under 15 for sure. Once I have like about like 10, that's when I hit the studio. Like, I make sure I have them all written first, and then I hit the studio and I work on it. Like,
where do you get your beats? Just YouTube?
Some YouTube. I mean, some. Most of them, actually, there's this website called So For Real Beats, SFR Beats, and I've gotten a lot of tracks from that website. They let you lease, or they let you buy exclusive, but I tend to lease a lot of the beats there. And the reason why I get a lot of tracks from that website is because I'm not sure who the producer is behind that website, but they have that soulful touch that I like. You know, the piano or the sax or the, you know, they have that I like. That if I go on YouTube, it's a little bit harder for me to find at times.
More options. So you just like start going through beats? You don't type in nothing?
The only thing I do is R&B. Like, I'll like write it down, R&B, and then I bump like track after track after track after track, and then once I feel like I connected with it, I'm like, all right, bet, download, bam, and then I start writing to it, and writing. A lot of times, like, I'll, like, if you look at my notes app, it's insane. People have, you know, their Google Drive is filled with tracks. My notes app is filled with lyrics and ideas. Like, if someone were to look through it, it's crazy. There's so much written down. Like, sometimes it'll be like whole songs. Sometimes it'll be like an idea of a song, kind of like answers. I would have written down like, oh, like chorus could be like, oh, like he's asking me a question and I'm telling him that he's not gonna like the answer. Just off of that note, I'll go back to it and then I'll start writing from that. Yeah.
That's pretty good. Yeah, I can't. I'm on the spot. Like.
Really?
Yeah. I don't write nothing ever unless
really?
I'm
You're on the spot?
In the studio.
Oh my gosh.
Play the beat. I'll write it. I'll record it, and that's it. Like.
That's crazy. The only time I've done on the spot is like when it's happened. Like, people will be working on shit and they'll be like, yo, let's do this. Or like, oh, you down to hop on this?
Yeah,
like,
collabs. And
yeah,
shit.
collabs I'll do on the spot. Yeah. But something for me, no. I take my time with that shit.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know why. I guess because since I started, I've always had like a home setup. Yeah. So it's like whenever it's trying to make music, it's just on the spot, you know? Throw on a beat and I'll start writing to it, and then shit, just record it and let's go. That's crazy. Well, yeah, like I said, everyone has their own style and shit. Yeah. That's yours. Shit, that would not work for me. Like, it would not. I take my time with writing and shit. At least if it's for me. If it's for a feature, it's not that I care less, but it's like a feature, it's still gonna be good, you know, but it's not my project, you know, it's not my song, it's not my baby. I don't have to coddle it, you know, or make sure it's perfect, which is crazy because sometimes my verses will sound harder than what I drop. I'm like, damn, I should probably start writing on the spot. Like, I don't know what could come about it. Yeah, I mean, I think it's like the pressure of it, and it's like, you know, you gotta show out somebody. It's like you're challenged. Like, yeah, I get challenged, and sometimes I'm just like, damn, this shit hard as fuck. This shit's dope. Yeah. I mean, it's also for me, because I'm a producer too. That's true. So like everything in my mind I can make come to life. That's true. You see, I told you I tried producing. That shit ain't work for me. Like, that shit did not work for me. I told myself I was gonna give myself a chance for like with like everything. Shit, I even tried shooting videos at one point. I was like, yeah, it's not really for me. That's hard. It is. And if you don't like it, you're not going to want to dedicate time to it. You know, you're not going to want to break your head over it because you're not fucking with it. Yeah. The only thing that I can tell you that I'm down to break my head over easy is me creating a song. Like, mostly like an R&B track. That's something I'm down to, you know, run circles about and really take my time with it and break my head if it's not sounding how I want it to sound, because I love that shit. I really, really love that shit. I love R&B. I love creating R&B. It's like my favorite genre, and it's something I love to do. So that I'm down to do. All that other shit, I'm gonna just hit you up for, like, like all the producing shit, all that video shit. I'm gonna just, Beatty, yeah. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I love to do it, so it's just like
It works for you.
yeah,
And you could tell, I mean, that shit, like, when you love to do your shit too, like, it comes out good, you
yeah.
know? And your shit comes out good.
Appreciate it. So on Soulful, what's your favorite track?
Soulful. Trying to think.
Yeah, the track that's right there. Look.
What shit it is, huh? Damn, my favorite track. Probably Don't Come Back with Mofo.
That shit's slow.
But it's like lit in a way. Like, I don't know how to describe it. Like, it's funny because like we recorded that at his pad too, like on the spot type shit.
Yeah.
Like he just found a beat on YouTube and we just started writing to it right then and there. And I just love that track because I don't know, like another one where I was like really feeling it, like wanting down ass bitch could have had one, you know, like I'm done being wifey to a bum, like I don't know, cause I guess I love that track cause that's the type of shit I fuck with. Like I love sad shit, I love heartbreak shit. It's my favorite type of I could be happy as hell and I'll put my in my feels playlist and it's just like I vibe to it. I love sad shit, which is why you look at my shit and a lot of like there's a lot of sad tracks because it's my favorite. I don't know what it is.
No, I love sad tracks too. I don't like the happy shit.
Right? See, you feel me then? You feel me? All that happy shit. Like, what you so happy for?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, see, perky people be driving me crazy with that shit too. Like,
yeah, R&B, all the breakup songs.
Yeah.
All that. It's like.
So I feel like that's why that's my favorite track, and I'll bump that shit on the regular, which is weird because I don't really. I'm gonna be honest. It's not that I'm not a fan of myself because obviously I am. But I don't really bump my shit like that, if I'm honest. Like, there's only, like, particular tracks, which is Don't Come Back with Mofo is one of them that's actually in my R&B playlist. But everything else, I kind of just, I put it out, and I wouldn't say I toss it back and I forget about it because I do end up performing it down the line. But I don't really bump on the regular. It's not, again, it's not that I'm a fan of myself, but maybe I'm just tired of listening to my own voice.
I guess it can get like that.
Yeah.
Usually for me, it's like when I first make the song or an album, I'll listen to it a lot. But after a while, it's just
you
like,
just get over it.
Yeah. What's new? What's next? You know. But the fans, bro, they be like, bro, your last album, that track, I love it. I'm like, shit, that was old shit, bro.
Like, we on new shit right now. Like, that's
but they don't like the new shit. Like, they don't even care.
Oh, man.
Like,
tell me about it. I feel like Daddy Issues was, like, my Good Kid, Mad City, like, Kendrick moment. And even to this day, like, anybody were to ask me, like, what whole body of work project I fuck with the most, it would be Daddy Issues for sure. I feel like Soulful would be, like, you know, that album that came after and shit. It still has bangers, you know, for sure. But I don't know. Daddy Issues was just like the one for me. Hopefully I could come up with another body of work that ends up being just as good, in my opinion.
Do you go in with like a concept for the album, like, or like what you want? Kind of like overall message or like overall feel?
For like my next project or
anytime, like for the last two, or
well,
you just song by song?
It's crazy, like, because every time I try to stick to like one concept, I kind of just, regardless, my brain just ends up going all over the place and shit. Like, I've always wanted to drop like just an album strictly like R&B.
I was gonna ask you that too.
Cause I've been wanting to, but somehow you listen to my shit and it's like there's always a rap song there, like here and there, and it's like, and I'm going hard, you know, but it's like, I don't know, like I want to drop for sure. I want to drop like a project where it's just all R&B. I think I'm just a little scared.
What about all rap?
Ooh, you know, it's funny. I've never thought of doing that. Which is weird. I'm telling you, this rap's just a hobby. Because I've honestly never, like, that thought has never passed my head for me to drop like a whole, like,
it's just the EP, you know,
all rap. I don't know. You know what? It would bother me. I'd be like, I gotta add a little singing in there,
Yeah.
even if it's just in the hook of one of the tracks.
That's
like,
fine.
I gotta add a little singing in
A little
there.
singing hook. That's fine. But
I don't know why. I feel like maybe because I don't want to lose myself to this rap shit. Because I don't really feel like that's me, even to this day. You know, I'll do it, but again, it's more. It's not really.
You like Doja Cat?
I fucking love Doja Cat.
So she kind of.
Oh my gosh.
Does the rapping, singing.
Yeah, like even with her last album, I thought it was because she was really, but like she was talking a lot of shit, saying that she was a sellout. That her last album was just like pop shit, and we ate it up. And I'm like, damn, bitch. Funny thing is, like, how I was mentioning SZA like being one of my biggest inspirations. Doja Cat is definitely up there, 100%, because she's able to do both, and she's able to do them so well.
Yeah.
And so she inspires me so much, like probably more than any other artist at the moment, because she kind of like, again, like I do kind of what she does, like the whole singing and the rapping. But even this last album, she was still able to sneak in like singing in there.
Mm-hmm.
It is mostly rap though, so she wasn't lying when she was like, that she was gonna, this shit was gonna sound different. It does sound different. I like it.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see myself doing it, but who knows? I could talk a lot of shit right now. I could tell you I'm gonna do like all types of shit, but I end up, because I even wanted to come out with like a whole Spanish album, like a whole that's been in the works forever. It's something that I've been wanting to do for the longest, especially after like the good reception that one song Tequila con Sal got. I'm not gonna lie, like a lot of people were fucking with that. And so I'm like, maybe I got a little opening right here, and I haven't opened that door, and who knows what awaits on the other side of that shit. Because the thing with Spanish fans, like Latin fans ride hard, like they are diehards. Like fans will push your shit, and they'll make sure to get you up there if they fuck with your shit. So they're not like, I compare both fan bases in the Latin world and the English world, and Latin fans are on some other shit. Like they're diehards, and if they fuck with your shit, they're gonna bump your shit, and they're gonna tell the homie about it, they're gonna tell their family about it, and even the next door neighbor will be hearing that shit. That's the type of like fan base they are. So I'm like, if I do it right, who knows, there might be some shit out there. But yeah, people were really fucking with that shit. They were, and honestly, that was kind of like, ooh, I'm gonna put it on, see what happens. Like, I was a little scared, because I'm like, I'm fluent in Spanish, like 100%. But it was my first time writing a song in Spanish, and that shit was hard, because it was different. It was something I'd never done in my fucking life. Even though I grew up, listening to it and singing it, I'd never written a Spanish song, and it was a bit of a task for me, but that's just a jam.
Yeah.
For sure. I be wanting to get drunk to that shit myself. Like, ooh.
Yeah. So you working on new music, or still like?
I mean, I feel like we talked about this too. Like, see, that's how you know, real life homies. We don't need a podcast.
Yeah.
But last year was just hella rough for me and shit.
Right.
So like, music was like the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
And I was just trying to survive at that point mentally, I was like in a funk and shit. And that's just the surface. Even me saying this right now is like just the tip of the iceberg, because it was bad. But I mean, music was farthest thing from my mind. So I have not worked on new shit for like probably it's going on 2 years probably.
So are you still writing, or?
Yeah. I'm definitely still writing. That's just something I feel like I'm gonna always do, because the writer in me, even if it's just journaling, like when I'm pissed and shit, I open my journal, I'm like, bitch, so I'm always writing. But to actually go in the booth and record like tracks, I haven't done in a long time. And I'd be lying if I told you I had some shit planned. Because right now I'm just trying to ease my way, back, and I guess kind of prove to myself that I could still do it. And I feel like you're probably gonna see me, like the next shit that I'm in, it'll probably be a collaboration, because that's just me like easing my way in. And
right.
I guess in a way using another artist to
Yeah.
kind of help me come
Yeah.
back.
Yeah, it's a good way to do it.
Yeah, so the next shit you hear from me is gonna be for sure a collaboration before I drop a single on my own.
Yeah.
Which, you know, the single will definitely come after, for sure. But a collaboration is in the works, for sure. Like that's something that'll drop soon.
For sure. Get ready, everybody.
Yep, get ready. You knowing already. You knowing who?
The people need to know, you know what I'm saying? I'm always there. I'm behind the scenes on everything that goes on.
No cap. But I guess the people gotta know. He's the one on the booth recording me.
Yeah.
Like, he knows who I'm collaborating with. Yeah. He knows the next video I'm shooting. Like, but yeah, you guys need to know.
It's not my place to say, you know.
Nah, that's why I fuck with you. That's why I fuck with you heavy.
For sure. So, you read a lot of books.
I do. I do.
Do you ever plan on actually writing your own book?
Yeah.
What do you read, like novels? Or?
I do. I'm very, very into mysteries and horror. Those are my two genres. I love them. But I'm definitely open, like, to different novels and shit. I know, like, my friends know that I love to read, or anybody who knows me knows I like to read. So they'll buy me a book, which will be like something like I would have never picked out in my life, you know. Like, the homie got me a book probably like a couple of weeks back. It was definitely something I would have never bought. You know, it's definitely not my genre, but it's super cool, and I'm glad I started reading it, because now I'm just like hooked on it. It's like a hood drama, you know. I would have never picked that shit up. I'm very into, again, mysteries, like that shit that will have me like on the edge of my seat, like, oh my god, and like plot twists. I'd be like, who killed who? And then you think someone killed somebody, ended up being like some other fool, and that shit just trips me out.
I'm like that with movies.
Oh, with movies, yeah,
shows.
that's just crazy, right? Like the plot twist,
yeah. My favorite shit. The thrillers, the crime thrillers.
I mean, my favorite author is Stephen King, for sure. So, back to your question, that fool was the one that inspired me into writing this particular story that I have in mind. Well, he has this book that's called If It Bleeds, and it's actually four shorts, not really short stories, they're kind of long, but they're 4 stories combined into one book. And that gave me the idea, like, I should probably do some shit like that. So for sure I would like to drop my own book, and it's just one of those things that I actually see happening. Like, you know how a bunch of times we speak out of our ass, like, oh, I want to do this shit, or I would like to. I actually see this shit happening in the future. Me actually dropping like a book, probably with 4 or probably even 3 stories. I already have the stories in mind, because I was inspired by the stories that I hear from my family in Guatemala. You know, there's a bunch of crazy shit that be going down over there, and even like, not just Guatemala, but like Mexico, a lot of, you know, countries in Central America, they got some crazy stories.
Especially for horror shit.
Yeah, like they be like, yeah, I saw La Llorona, I see Guanawa, you know, El Brujo, like people that can, like, I've heard some crazy stories about, and even read into it as well, like sirens, you know, the mermaids of the sea that be pulling these motherfuckers and shit. They be singing, and then they take them. And I've heard a lot of shape-shifting stories, and I believe it. I really do believe it. But yeah, so I was inspired by the stories I heard growing up from my grandparents. So I already have 2 stories that I for sure want to write. And
so you're in mystery?
Horror, for sure.
Horror?
Yeah, they're going to be scary. Oh. And they're going to be good because they're based off of real shit that I heard. And I feel like that's what makes it scarier, because real life is scary as fuck.
All right, so when you write these books, can I do the movies for them?
Shit, say less. You ain't gotta ask. You already on there. You already on the list. Like, imagine you doing a horror movie. Do you see yourself making, like, you know, even if it's like a short movie, like that doesn't involve music?
Yeah, I mean, that's like my second love is movies.
Okay.
So I'm really trying to get into right now.
Really?
The thing about movies and music, movies takes a lot of people to make.
True.
So you have to get everybody
on board
together, same schedule.
For sure.
So it's a little difficult. But I mean,
For sure.
I'm trying to. I already wrote a script and everything. So. So.
What kind of like movie are you thinking though?
So basically, just to kind of get my feet wet, and just to try something, I decided to pick rap songs that are storytelling and make it into like a short film.
Oh shit!
So the first one I'm doing is Ice Cube song called Ghetto Vet, where it's just about like, young gang member out here in the streets doing his thing. One day he gets caught slipping, he gets shot up, ends up paralyzed in a wheelchair, smoked out on crack, and becomes an alcoholic, and it's just like.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I really hope shit goes down. Well, I told you before that, if you need a girl, shit, because that's my second love, acting. I feel like I hid behind that creative side in middle school because I wanted to perform, but I didn't want to sing. I didn't want anybody to know. So I did a whole lot of improv. So people can remember that. If you went to middle school with me, you know that I was into acting. Like, I loved acting.
Yeah.
You give me a place, you give me an object, I'll fucking act the shit out. Like, I will act the shit out of that. Like, I love acting. And I would even tell people I wanted to be an actress. I mean, that's still on the list. Anything that has to do with performing arts or even performing, I feel like when you're a creative, the possibilities are endless. Like, there's this big part of the brain that needs to be fed, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I started that podcast shit, because I'm like, okay, I'm not really thinking about music because I'm in a funk, but what could I do where I could still create?
That therapy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's a part of the brain that needs to be fed and shit. So even that's something, if I ever make it, I would love to dip my toes in acting, like some serious acting shit. Like, I'm talking headshots, auditions and shit. Like, I would love that. I really would love that for sure. So if you need a girl, shit, I'm like, I be acting like I'm in love with these fools every day. Like, I'll act the shit out of anything.
For sure. I think we can wrap it up. You about to do a stovetop freestyle right now?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm about to do a freestyle, and I'm gonna finish that song with that person that I'm collaborating with.
Yes, sir.
Hella behind the scenes, PD, for real.
All right, well, there it is. 12 notes. Isabella Soul.
Ooh, ooh.
We out.
Peace.